everybody. Welcome. Glad to see you this afternoon. Is it afternoon, morning? I hope everyone's doing well. Hopefully you can hear me. So I'm excited for today. I have a couple of things just to go over real quick. One is a kind of a spiritual message, and for those of you that are new, welcome. Subscribe, share, and if you're new, subscribe, share, and what's the other thing? Oh, like. I'm trying to get better, you guys. I'm trying to get better. After 8 years, you think. Anyway, okay. But one thing, oh, thank you. Thank you, Gina. One thing that I wanted to just bring up really quickly is that if you have an appointment for December 26th, the day after Christmas, you can send your questions to me now or anytime. And just put December 26th appointment and just list your 4 questions. And so December 26th in the description, and then just put your questions down, 4 questions. And I'll get your reading to you as quickly as possible. What I did was, it's something I've caught myself almost doing a bazillion times, but I was wanting to add 2 appointments the day after Christmas. And so they're 30-minute appointments. And of course they're done by, email. So the time really doesn't matter. But scheduling for that day, and I put between, you're supposed to put between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m. or whatever the thing is for an hour. But what I did was 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. I've almost caught myself doing this a bunch of times, but I'll catch it. This time I didn't catch it. And it's the day after Christmas. So, and I don't want to not do anyone's reading. It's not what so don't say like, oh, you don't have to do don't do that. Cause I know you guys are nice and you'll do something like that. Just send it to me now. And thank you, Marianne. So yeah, send it to me now or anytime, like during, next week, the week after, if you don't know your questions, but you'll, but I just want to let you know that if you have a reading then and you want to, and you don't mind it being on that day, it doesn't really matter. And Truth, so yeah, Truth, you can always just send me your questions now or as soon as you get them done, and but put December 26th so I can click you off of that date. But isn't that stupid? It's like the dumbest thing. But and I don't want to cancel anybody because I know people look forward to them. And of course, then the time was there. I can't, say that it wasn't. But anyway, it was my own fault, and so it's fine. Sometimes the system messes up, and then I'll say I have to cancel or I can't, because it's not me that messed up. But this was me. It definitely was me. Okay, so that's that's out of the way. So the spiritual message that I felt that my guides wanted me to talk about was this idea of spiritual bypassing. And if you don't know what that is, spiritual bypassing is when you have something happen or emotions come up or, something that you have to deal with emotionally comes up. And instead of feeling it fully, taking time to work through it, taking time to process it, you use spirituality to bypass all that and go to what you want the end result to be. And usually for spiritual people, whether it's religious, people in churches that are in traditional religion, or spiritual people, is things like, so for instance, if there's a death, it's God's will. We have spiritual contracts. It was their time. Going to like, what is the lesson for me? Kind of trying to go from the incident to the end. And it's bypassing emotional stuff. And I think this is why the guides are bringing this up, is because as we go through, as a country and as individuals, don't forget that it's individuals as well. As we go through this unearthing, old stuff comes up. Old things that you didn't know about. You might find out, like, my mom cheated on my dad, or things that you didn't even know. It's all coming out. And so, or someone lied to me, or so you may find things out through this process because everything's coming up. It's not coming up so we can bypass it. It's coming up to deal with it. It's coming up to feel it fully, process it, and then let it go. One reason, well, the main reason I would say, or one big reason, is because if you don't process emotion, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in the body, it stays with you, and you get triggered later on. It doesn't go anywhere. So you have to go through the process to work through it and let it go. And then you move into your spiritual practices. And let me just say that I feel that walking a spiritual path, it does make life gentler. That's the best way I can put it. It makes life softer. The edges are softer. And it's because you do have spiritual tools to, maybe understand something or have a different perspective that helps you. That is all wonderful. And I practice my practices all the time because they do feel so good and they make you feel connected. And the world right now is in upheaval. It's in chaos. It feels very like, oh, what's next? What did this stupid idiot do now? Or it's just like it's all over the place. And so when you move into meditation and things that make you feel so peaceful and so calm and so good, that's also things we have to do, right? Because we have to feel that as well. But if we're not dealing with whatever's coming up that's negative, that's emotional, it will just come up later. And part of what we do when we come to this earth plane is we agree to take care of this vessel. And part of this vessel is feeling, dealing with, processing, and letting go of emotion. It's part of the package deal. And if you don't, we'll just talk for a second about if you don't, what happens is, well, Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. Take a drink if you have a mimosa in front of you. If you do, I'm jealous. But you can take it. But it will become part of the pain body. He calls it the pain body. And basically what it is it's accumulated negative, unprocessed emotion. Stuff you didn't process, stuff you didn't deal with. It just lays there. And then later on, when your spouse or your loved one leaves the toothpaste doesn't roll it up like you flip out. There's some, because you're triggered and it's coming out. It's going to come out one way or another. And so if you can, when you have things happen, sit with it, be with it, feel it fully. It won't kill you. I think when it comes to things like death, illness, our own stuff, our own, worries about our kids, or, things that are happening in their lives, or a diagnosis, or it's not going to kill you to feel it fully. And then when you let it go, it's gone. It doesn't come back. It doesn't trigger you over and over again. I feel like another reason they're bringing this up is because some of things like the e-files, things like that, are triggering a lot of women and bringing up stuff from their past, and maybe even stuff they didn't think about before, but it's in the news all the time, so it comes back. Or you have a dream and it triggers something. So, and that just tells you, it doesn't tell you, and this is the point, it doesn't tell you you're not spiritual. It doesn't tell you you're going backwards. That's not what it's doing. It's telling you, I'm still here. Recognize me, deal with me. It's okay. And then let me go, right? Yeah, and so Maddie Beck, this is it. Yeah, so it's hitting home for people. So yeah, and so the way that you do this, I mean, it's quite simple, and it only gets magnified and is hard when it's not recognized, and then you're spiraling and you don't know why. Nothing's happened. Why am I spiraling right now? Well, it's probably something triggered some old pain that's never been dealt with. And so if something triggers you, let's go with a trigger. If something triggers you and you're like, I'm being triggered. Why am I hearing this? And I'm so angry. What is going on? And usually you can tell a trigger when your reaction is out. It's bigger than what has happened. So, like I said, like leaving the toothpaste out or whatever, little thing. Mine is that my husband leaves cups on the side of the bed all the time, and it drives me crazy because then we run out of cups and I don't like it. But I don't get triggered by it. But it's things like that, little things that kind of you overreact. That's telling you, I just got triggered. And then you kind of need to get in that observational mode, that higher self mode, and start to ask yourself the questions. Why did that trigger me? What is that bringing up? What is this emotion that I'm feeling? Where is it laying in my body? And even if you can't put together like where it comes from or why it's there, it's okay. Try to not think, go into the body, feel where it is in the body, breathe, and imagine it kind of leaving the body. It's that acknowledgement that it wants, right? It's that acknowledgement of, I'm still here, you never dealt with me, right? And then and then proceed to let it go. It may come with tears. That's okay. There's lots of stuff happening right now. And I feel like people are getting, right now, for me, it's billionaires. Anything about the billionaires. And I am like out of this world. I'm just like, and my catchphrase has been, F him and his rocket. So no matter what billionaire it is, F him and his rocket. And it makes me feel better. But it's so triggering to me. And I think that it goes to a lot of, the people that I know that have struggled financially, people that are working so hard, trying so hard, they can't get ahead, or they get hit with a giant tax bill or something, and it just infuriates me, right? So that's something I'm working on. And yeah, I scream into a pillow, and yeah, I'll journal about it. And yeah, I'll say F him and his rocket, because I need to expel it, this anger, this hurt, this sadness, this whatever it is. It may take a little time, it may take a little time, but it's there. And the main thing is just to notice it, that awareness, the light of awareness, that is what helps to break up the stuff that's still sitting there, the stuff that's been ignored. Notice it too. You might notice it in dreams. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had a dream where you're just yelling at someone, but that's a good way to know I'm still angry about this, or I haven't processed this fully, and and like I said, it can make you feel like, oh, I'm going backwards, or oh, I'm not spiritual. I was doing so well and now I'm not doing well. It's not like that. That isn't spirituality. It's great if you have a week of not getting triggered, not getting upset, and doing your meditation every day. That is wonderful. But it's not going backwards when you come back into the physical form acknowledge your physical self, your physical body, your physical emotions, all the things that come with being physical. You can't erase what you are. You're spiritual beings. So that's set in stone, right? It's this physical form that has the ups and downs and the and so yeah, so that's what it is. And I kind of wrote down some things to just help with the process. So facing emotions rather than avoiding them, integrating difficult experiences, growing through honesty and self-awareness. We talked about shadow work, right? That would be in that vein. Balancing compassion and accountability, allowing your full human emotional range. It's one of the reasons we're here, is to have difference in how we feel, because we don't really have, it's a very limited space that we feel on the other side. It's not quite the same. Forgiving too quickly, that's another one. Recently with the CK incident and the wife saying, "I forgive you" at the funeral. I mean, on paper, it looks like Christian forgiveness, but I'm telling you, that is spiritual bypassing. So yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. Okay. All right. So if you are new, I usually just go through and answer spiritual questions. You can put a personal thing up, but I might broaden it out so that it kind of is for everybody. But if you want to put it in the context of something that has happened to you or you're going through, that's fine. And I will answer it if I can, from information I've just gotten over the years, or if I can't, or if I'm not sure, I will hand it over to my guides and they'll be happy to answer it for you. Okay. All right. Oh, you're going to see The Sound of Music, Craig. I love that. The play is a little different than the movie, but I like it. I like it a lot. So enjoy that. I hope the cast is great. That's always the question. What level of theater you're seeing, but the national tours and all that, and playhouses that are there all the time are usually really good. So, okay. So Barbara, is there a specific reason when a new spiritual guide appears? I recently had a new guide show up. I'm told he is a guide for both me and a friend. Okay, I'm going to ask that to the guides. I have an idea, but I'm going to ask anyway and just see what they say. Why doesn't he guide show up? So they're showing this like almost like things shifting around like this, kind of like moving around. They're also showing a chessboard, which I'm not really sure what that is, but I think that may mean that sometimes guides will be more upfront and play a bigger role as you go through certain things in your life, but that our guides are always kind of shifting around. And they're saying like expertise. So they may be understand, like they went through this on the earth plane, so they have complete understanding of it. Or you have personally asked them to be part of this particular situation or this particular relationship where it's like a friend. Maybe it is a guide for you and the friend. You may both have a connection with this particular guide. And so you might explore that. But for all of us, guides are constantly kind of shifting around to give us the best guidance possible. And they're kind of, I feel like they're also kind of talking about, they may have a personal understanding or a personal investment in, like, you need to get this right this time, or you asked me to be part of this. And it kind of feels like that a little bit, Barbara, like you kind of requested that this guy come in at this point, and clearly has something to do with both of you, that's kind of around this relationship. It may be something new you'll be navigating, or something will come up, or that they feel that it would be beneficial for you to have this guide around right now. But that's great. And it's great that you caught it too. I think most people, maybe not in the spiritual arena, if they're very connected, they may be very aware all the time. But I think most people don't realize that's what's going on, is that, I'm in the bank trying to deal with something financial, and a guide that can help, or that is knowledgeable or understands that on the earth plane, might come forward. And then you go to work with children, and there might be other guides that come in and help to help you navigate situations in that way, but that's what's happening. And it's seamless, right? They're seamless. They're so subtle. It's so quiet. And it's meant to be like that. It's not meant to be in our face. When it comes to guides and connecting, we really do need to seek it out. We need to be the ones to open up to it and be seeking that out, and want that more direct communication, because they're communicating and you're hearing them. Whether you feel like you are or not, you are. Because they will use all kinds of things around you to get the message through. They'll use dreams, they'll use other people, they'll use, technology, they'll use, things to capture your attention, numbers, right? Objects, they have a million ways to get through. But what's nice is when you have that direct access, it can take you a day to figure out something that it might normally would have taken you a month or two, because you're not getting this, you're not hearing it, or you're not seeing it. But they're not going to stop trying. So, and you do eventually hear them in some way, shape, or form. You do, even if it feels like you don't. But so that's good. That's good that you caught that. That was a new guide coming in, and why. That's great. Okay, and Gina is I think she's just sharing. Last night I was praying hard. I fell asleep and dreamed I saw Jesus sitting and praying. He was on a raised surface, and I was on the floor. I began to pray with him. I was so overjoyed to see him. What a beautiful dream, and what a beautiful gift. It sounds like I do wonder if it was a visitation dream, and to me, if it was, it's clearly to tell you your prayers are being heard, and that you're not alone, right? That you have beings with you to comfort you and to be with you. Oh, thank you, Angel. Angel Works by Angel Works by, let's see, everyone, I looked at my glasses anyway. I love you, and what you share. Keep doing your angel work. I will. Angel Works by Pam Drennan, 3880. Thank you, Pam. Appreciate that. I really, really do. Oh, thank you, Gina. She told people to like and subscribe as well. Okay. Yeah, this is a confusing one, right? Kim and guides, please tell us about soulmates as we experience it on Earth romantically. What makes someone a soulmate? Can we have more than one romantic soulmate in a lifetime? Yes, let's get to the bottom of this. What is with soulmates? What is with soulmates? So they're saying, like, it's like, simply put, it's a person that you are deeply connected with on the soul level. We tend to think of it as romantic. But they're saying it's people you're deeply connected to on a soul level. So you have a deep connection with. And I feel like it's like people that you talk to them the first time and you just feel like you're so comfortable with them, like you've known them 1,000 years and you get along great, you have the same sense of humor, the same, like, it just gels so quickly. I think that's a telltale sign. When they're saying when there is a soul connection in a romantic way in a lifetime, it's very orchestrated. And so if you have made plans to meet up with your soulmate here, and it's like a relationship, romantic relationship, like a marriage or a long time love or whatever, that is set up. It's set up in advance, and they're even saying it doesn't mean forever necessarily. It means impactful and connected. And there's usually reasons for it. Like why you need to come together, maybe to have a specific child or to, but what I'm getting is that when it comes to soulmate romantic relationships, they're very set up. And you still have the choice, like you never lose your free will here, even when you set things up. Usually when you set something up like that, you'll feel it on a soul level. It won't really be something that you have to mull over very much. It will just be there, but you still have choice. You can, if you don't want to be in a relationship when this happens to come along, you can not be in that relationship. But they're saying they're set up. They're set up for specific times and specific, for specific reasons. But they're also expanding that out to souls, people in your life that you're very deeply connected to on a soul level. So there's soulmate romantic and there's soulmate, just soulmates, connection. I'm also saying your soulmate, like that you feel more like a bond with, like a couple, that you can be here and they can be there. I've read for people like that, where I can just feel that their soulmate is not here. They're that kind of deep connection with one particular soul, and it feels more romantic. It feels more like love on a romantic level. And what that probably is that they've had lots of lifetimes together as a couple, but they're not here this time. They're there. And just because they're not here doesn't mean you can't have wonderful, amazing relationships. Yeah, I hope that didn't make it more confusing. I think I understand, but I hope that makes it. And it's weird because I almost get the feeling that, like, this is the best way we can help you to understand it. It almost feels like it's not quite, but that's close, Yeah. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Gina. Gina's just being my a great moderator. She's letting people know about classes and everything else. I appreciate it. Thank you, Gina. Energies for December. So in the club, I always do a very specific reading and practice, an energy reading and practice. loosely, kind of a looser way. To me, it feels like they're in the month of December. Mm. So I'm going to be doing my the year predictions pretty soon. I'm like keeping this list that just keeps getting longer. I may have to do a 1 and 2 or something like that. But one of the things they've talked about for the year is this idea of letting go, surrendering, letting go, not letting go like we were just talking about, not letting go of like emotions. That's important, and that's a thing that we, but more releasing control. And so that makes me feel like December may be one of those months where there are things happening that we're witness to that we're not in control of, and that we have to let it go. We have to allow it to be what it is. It doesn't mean you can't respond or react in some way, but ultimately, we sort of have to be aware of there always being higher order, that we're always in it on an evolving path. We're always on an evolutionary path. We're never backtracking, even though it feels like that. We're always moving forward. And what moving forward means is being compassionate, being caring, loving each other, helping each other, appreciating each other and appreciating difference, cooperating. Those are the types of things we're moving into, right? But it does feel like we're going to have some situations where we're sort of going to have to trust and let go. Trust and know that that's how everything works. The universe is always working in that order. It's always pushing us forward, always, and evolving us in some way. And so there's going to have to be some of that. That's kind of what it feels like. I also feel like leaning into little things like the holidays, perfect thing to lean into, right? It's still December, so you'll be, seeing Christmas lights, and you'll be seeing, and so it's kind of like indulging in just the little things that bring you little sparks of joy. I don't think that it's necessarily going to be an overly sad month. It doesn't feel like, I remember the year that Sandy Hook happened. It was such a sad Christmas. It was such a sad time of year. It was just so sad. It doesn't feel like that. It doesn't have that kind of like just heavy sadness. It doesn't feel like that. It just feels like more upheaval, but upheaval in a way where it feels like we, what do we do? What do we do? Release it. Let it go. Let it go. And putting that faith in just life, how things are. We know the good comes, the good goes, the bad comes, the bad goes. Everything's transitory. Everything's moving and shifting all the time. So the bad stuff won't last forever, but neither will the good stuff. It's kind of always moving and flowing. And the more you can let things flow, the easier it is. It's when we grip, when we hold on, and we're that's when it gets to be tough, difficult. It's we get locked into anger, locked into these other things that you don't want to do that. Feel it and let it go. So that's what I'm feeling for the month of December. And the idea of leaning into little things of beauty, little things that bring you joy, that make you laugh, make you smile. Watch Christmas movies, listen to Christmas music. If you celebrate Hanukkah, lean into the dreidel, or lean into the decorations of you. I mean, I love all the things around light that happen in Hanukkah. So lean into those things. Don't let things sort of move and play out, because they are just evolving. They're changing, and there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to get through and experience it. We have to have that experience, because it's there. We have to experience it, right? But that's what I'm getting for December. And but you have what you can do, right? Turning off the TV, and I'm going to watch Christmas, or I'm just going to turn off the TV and drink my hot chocolate and look at the Christmas lights. That's what I'm doing, right? We have our what may be happening in our remedy to that, okay? Yeah. Guilty. I should spiritual awareness, try to avoid the emotional pain. Yeah, it's common. It's common. And sometimes we're not even aware we're doing it, especially if it's like something that happens that's shocking. We might be in shock and be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm on a different plane. I'm doing great. And then, as things, down the road, you may start to feel things or get triggered, or, so you have to deal with it then. But when it comes up, just deal with it. And don't feel like you're going backwards in any way. I think that sometimes people get stuck in that idea of, I'm just always non-reactive, and if I'm reacting, then I'm not acting in a spiritual way. And it's like, no, it's all part of it. Like I said, you already are a spiritual being. You can't not be that. So you already are that. You can't lose it. You can't lose it. But yeah, work through things and then pull out your spiritual toolbox. And that's when you move into your spiritual practices, and you get to have a different perspective. And like I said, it just helps so much. It softens life so much, in my opinion. Yeah. A lot of people saying, I just want to skip. I do want to skip the bad stuff. It's like, it's fine, but it's not going anywhere. That's all. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing, right? The physical things. Ricky, not dealing with my pain gave me stomach ulcers. Yeah. It's not going anywhere, right? So either it'll be triggered and come out at a different time, or it will do that. It can cause emotional blocks as well. It can cause things to do with chakras. It can cause, where you get energy blocks and you need an energy healer to move things along. It can give you physical ailments and physical things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gina, and I do a lot of spiritual bypass. As soon as something happens, I try to move into gratitude and stuff like, yeah. And I think, and like I said, I think that's why it's coming up, right? Because it's typical of spiritual people that they want to, it feels so good to be connected and to be in that space of love. And when you felt that in your spiritual practice, and it feels so good, and it, you want to get back to that as soon as possible. But the reality is we're here to have a human experience, and so that's what we're here to do. So we need to do that too. It doesn't mean, though, that spiritual practices can't help so much. They really, really can. when you say process it, what do you mean? Just feel it or think about it until you stop thinking about it? I feel like processing, and there may be a psychologist in the family here, but I feel like when I think of processing, I feel like it is integrating. When I did, and it's almost like claiming it, accepting it, accepting that this is the way I feel, or this is the way I felt. And fully, I guess I think of it as integrating, when you integrate the experience and kind of add it as your as part of your growth pattern. When I did a whole video about shadow work, and when you do that, the processing of it, the processing doesn't have to be something that's really long and drawn out. Sometimes it's a realization of something coming up in yourself that you don't like about yourself. You know, if you have a controlling nature, or if you're jealous out of the blue, you're jealous of someone, you're jealous of a friend, and instead of saying like, I'm not jealous anymore. I practice spirituality all the time, and I know jealousy is wrong, and I don't want to be that person, and blah, blah. Instead of going into that pattern of thinking, it's pulling it closer to you and asking it, like, why are you here again? What did I not, why are you showing up? Kind of, and it's the whole idea of having a conversation basically with that feeling. If that's too weird for you, asking yourself, why would jealousy be hanging around? Why is jealousy in me? And a lot of times you'll get the reason why it's there. It will come to you. And jealousy is sometimes there to remind you that you deserve good things too. That you need to maybe work on your self-worth. I'm worthy of this too. This friend had this wonderful thing happen. I'm worthy of that too. And that's why the jealousy pops up. It just pops up in a different coat. So you don't recognize it as that's what it's trying. But when you delve in and you process, you work through it, and figure it out. So I guess processing can be kind of integrating, looking at the origin of it, why it's coming up, what it's trying to show you or teach you about yourself. That kind of, it's all part of processing, in my opinion. That's kind of what I think of. And I think integrating for me is a more descriptive word. And Just Love says, it involves accepting those insights without judgment, allowing them to inform and reshape your perception of self and reality. Thank you for that. Yeah, exactly what I said. Yeah, if you want the short, very concise and perfect version, that's the version that you want to hear. But my long, drawn-out explanation was good too. Oh, thank you. Other where? Is that what it is? Thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Yeah. And Midlife Psychic is here. And it's just nice to be with everybody today. And I hope everybody had a really nice Thanksgiving. I got my COVID shot the day before. And so overnight into Thanksgiving, I was so sick. I was so sick. The first one made me really sick too. Just like chills, body aches. Yeah, all that stuff. Not fun, but I was fine. The next day I was fine. Yeah, and Diane, that's a great point. So Diane brings up a lot would be fixed if you live in the moment, not in the past, not in the future, right? And part of that is because you can process things in the moment. You can consciously respond. You can consciously deal with whatever feelings are coming up. When you mix up the past and the future, it makes it more complicated. It makes it harder to recognize. But yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that in, Diane. Yeah. Do. Yeah. Thank you, Intuition. And you can check out Midlife Psychos and Intuition's new channels by those names. Such a good message, Kim. In terms of the country, I think we've all gone through a lot of collective trauma and needs to both be acknowledged and felt. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? And it's this giant shadow that's sitting in the Oval Office right now is triggering us constantly, and it is to bring this stuff up. Like I said, this is it. It's not just the unearthing on a countrywide, global wide. It's individuals as well. So that's why you're feeling probably maybe more feelings in the last, since maybe 2016, more feelings than you've ever felt. It's just like it's been kind of a barrage. And you're right, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of gaslighting that happens, which is very can be very triggering and hurtful. Being lied to day in and day out. I mean, it's a lot. It's really, really a lot. And then seeing people suffer, seeing people suffer all over the world because of horrible leadership, right? We've got to get our act together when it comes to leadership. We have to. And but that's why all this is happening. Like I said, it's all evolving us. It can feel like, oh, we're going backwards. Oh, we're spinning out. It's because everything's coming up, and everything needs to come up. We need to deal with this stuff. Yeah, Janine, and like I said, it will take its time. It will just be there, right, until it sees an opportunity to come out and be dealt with, whether it's trigger or a dream or it's very interesting how it happens, and it's going to help us. It's going to help us. It really is. So, otherwhere. That's it. Thank you. Okay, just looking for a question. How large is our spiritual family? At times I see someone I feel connected to, but they are a stranger in this life on earth. Are they part of my spiritual family? Okay. So, okay, so they're saying so we're all connected, right? We're all connected, or we're all from the same source, right? So we're all connected. So we're all family in that way. But they're saying that, but there are certain spirits, and it's all to do with kind of their, I say like energy imprint, but there may be a better way to put that, but energy imprint that kind of matches ours or blends with ours really well. They're also saying that we have personalities, we have traits, we have experiences. And so a lot of, and they're saying our soul family in the way you're talking about it could be hundreds of souls. As far as here, they're saying you usually see them within your family unit, close friends. You kind of, you could probably guess who's in your soul family that's around you, that you just feel really connected. But sometimes they're saying they take on an opposite role to help us experience certain things. I can't tell you how many times, how many NDEs I've heard where they have an NDE and they realize that the person that has been like abusive to them, or that how connected they are, how they you know, everything comes back to them, that they're completely connected, and that this person, because they wanted you to be able to do some things you really wanted to do and work through, they agreed to play this part. And I know that those are big concepts and difficult concepts to come to terms with if you've been through abuse. You're like, well, that person is not my, you know, not my friend, not my family. But these are, our soul holds all of the information, and our brain, our physical experience holds some of the information, right? So it can be hundreds of people, or hundreds of souls, but the ones that are here, you probably know who they are or can guess who they are. There are surprises though. Sometimes there are surprises, because we've heard them in NDEs, and I've also had them in readings come up. This person is part of your soul family, you know, and they're like, no, they're not. And I'm like, that's what I'm getting. So sorry about that. You know, it doesn't mean they're playing a positive part in this lifetime, but they're part of your soul group. They're also saying, you know, that they give you, actually, that's a really good analogy. Thank you. So they're giving me the analogy of, like, you know, when people, this part isn't the analogy, but that when people come to Earth and go over and over and over again, you build these bonds of, like, we're all from, you know, we've all been hanging around the Earth plane, and we know all about it, and it's super fun, and we played this part, and it builds these deep relationships around your lives on Earth, and you're very involved in that. And they're saying it's like when you get involved in, and other planets have this too, where you go to this planet all the time. You build the bonds with those people that have been doing this with you. And so, but they gave me the analogy of, like, when you join, like, 1 year you're really into tennis, and you're doing tennis, and you're close to all your tennis friends, and, you know, maybe the next year you're into baseball, and you get really into baseball, and all of your baseball friends are there, and your teammates, and you see them all the time, and they help you, and, you know, it's the same kind of thing with Earth. It's almost like you're in the Earth Club, right? And so those spiritual bonds get deeper with these kinds of experiences. And so, but yeah, so that's I hope that answers that question. I know. Intuition, it's I think about that all the time with billionaires. It just, yeah, it triggers me over and over again. And I think that's part of it too. Yeah, is the wealth gap, and just how much good they could do. You know, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Oh, it's so frustrating. How do you follow me? You're doing it right now. You're following me. I have no books out. I don't. I have Power of Intention cards. That's what I have. And I do classes. I do a lot of classes. If MMM, like, you can look at the description, and it'll show you, like, where the website is. And I have a Zoom class that's live in January that is going to be spirit communication through journaling. So if you want to do that, it just says send me an email, and just tell me you're interested, and I'll put you on a list. And then as soon as I'm just working on the classes right now. And so when I'm done, I'll give you a description, tell you all about it, tell you how to register, and then you can read about it and register if you want. And that's kind of it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. If you suppress emotions, do you get depression? My daughter's boyfriend just started meds. His parents are divorced. Absolutely. Yeah, because it's not, it lays there dormant, right? It lays until something kicks it up. So the depression itself, something may have triggered all of this pain and this sadness. And I also want to say that he overprocesses he overanalyzes and overprocesses way too much. He needs to work on, if you want to know, he needs to work on being present more and letting things go. And I feel like a lot of his too is about the way others perceive him, the way others see him, the way others, I feel like he feels like he disappoints people, things like that. He needs to let that go. He needs to start really just loving himself more. It really does come down to that. And that will be good for both of them, right? Because you want to go into a relationship whole, right? You don't want somebody filling in what you need from yourself. And so that's what I'm getting for him. So I hope that helps. I hope it wasn't too much. It just came in, so I just have to share it. Do people who have crossed over, who were really angry on Earth, ever miss feeling like that way? Like, will Trump look back and miss being nasty? Or do people go, oh, what a character I was on Earth? Okay, so let's ask that question. It's a really good question, Lauren. You came. Now let's ask that question to the guides. What would they say about people who were really angry on Earth? So they're saying to feel the full intensity of emotions, you come to Earth. That full depth of emotion, you come to Earth, because there's these added layers of the brain, of the body, and it helps you to sort of have the fullest experience of that emotion. It isn't the same there. It isn't the same. They may remember, like I was so angry, but you really can't feel it the same way you do here. First of all, you have a completely different perspective, right? Things start to come back to you. Now, what someone like Trump might do is he's so attached to the physical world. I'm rich, I have money, I have status, I have stuff. I've got people at my beck and call. I've got buildings with my name on it. So he may refuse to leave for a while. He might be a ghost for a little while, or what we think of as a ghost. And I think of ghosts or spirits, I never think of them as stuck. They stick themselves, but it's usually because they're working through stuff. They have to work through things, slowly accept that it's done, it's over, that was it. And as they do, they'll also start to remember, oh yeah, I came to do this. Oh yeah, I came, what am I doing? And like I said, it's almost like my guides have given me that analogy of getting really drunk at a Christmas party, making an ass of yourself, the next day waking up and slowly remembering, oh yeah, I made an ass of myself. and having to, and also having to deal with all the people I hurt, right? All that feeling of regret. I love the part in A Christmas Carol when Scrooge looks out the window and sees all of the spirits around this homeless woman and her child. And he says, why do they lament? And the ghost, or I can't remember who, I guess it's ghost, it might be Marley, I don't know. One of them says to him, because they can't help, they can't do anything now. They didn't help when they were here, and they can't do anything now. So they're sad. They're sad with the person. They're feeling their pain. They're kind of in it with them because they can't do anything to help, and they didn't when they could have. And so, but there are those spirits that are so connected to the earth. When they pass, they're kind of still in it, trying to be in it, trying to, kind of be part of it still. But it fades. It always fades. They're never in that phase for too long, because their guides are there. People are around them. And you hear a lot about NDE people who will say, like, I was, worrying about my family, or I was confused about my body and what was happening. And then I felt a presence on my right. All of a sudden, they'll become aware of other stuff as they slowly move back into that reality, into that realm. And so they're saying, do they miss it? That's kind of the wrong, not the wrong word, but it's not quite they miss it. They remember it, and they can remember the intensity of it, but it can't really be recreated in the same way. So, and that's why it's so, we're coming full circle, right? Why it's so important to feel things fully. It's one of the reasons we're here, is to feel it on a different vibrational level too, right? But also to move past it, to be able to come to the other side of it, to rise to it, right? And then being able to sort of integrate it as that was my experience. That's part of my story. Yeah. Okay. So I hope everyone has a wonderful week. I think we're going to do a Spirit Speaks this week. So I'll get in touch with you, Gina, if you want to help. And yes, Raylene, you can call in specific guides to help with specific things. I even call in, like, my dad and stuff. He's helped me with orb work. He's helped me with, with appliances. Just, do I need to replace this, Dad? What do you think? I can feel the answer. I can know what he's trying to say, or I'll hear him internally. So yes, you can, and you can call in family members too. If they were always good with, that's who they are. So they'll still be good at whatever they were good at. Yeah, we bring talents, things that we've cultivated over lifetimes with us. It's like they described it like a security blanket. So they're still good at those things. So yes, absolutely. If they were a great spiritual teacher and they passed away, call them in to help you. They will. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Thank you for hanging out today. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. Great questions as usual. And yeah, and I'm going to repeat, if you're on the 26th of December and you want your reading done before then, just send me your questions and just say I'm a December 26th person. And if you want to hear the details about that, you can go back to the beginning of the video. But why that is, go ahead and just send me your questions whenever you are ready. You don't have to wait till the 26th. All right. Hi, holding your space. Nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Terry, it was on last week. If you missed it, you can go watch it. Hi, Kelly. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right. Take care. Bye.